Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Daf Yomi to Masechet Tractate Bekhorot Daf 22 Amud A. And there's talk in that regard concerning those 100 seah of non-sacred produce. According to Rabbi Eliezer, what will be with them? Let them be eaten dry or roasted or kneaded with fruit juice or divided into small batches, provided that there is not an egg bulk of volume in a single batch. And Ola says, what is the reason that the mixture may not be allowed to come into contact with water despite the fact that it's entirely non-sacred? As you have been at the decree, lest one bring, what does that mean? Although Rabbi Eliezer considers the seah removed from the mixture to be the seah that has initially fallen in, it is regarded as such only as a stringency. Accordingly, despite the fact that a seah is treated as impure teruma, which must be left to rot, the mixture still contains impurity which can be revived. Tosfot a kav of non-sacred impure produce from some other place, and take a kav. A kav is a unit of volume equating 1/6 of a seah. Its size in contemporary measurements is a subject of dispute among scholars, with opinions ranging from 1,200 to 2,500 cc, and a little more from this mixture. He will then think to himself, I will nullify the kav of impure produce with the majority of the pure produce from the mixture, but since there is some amount of impure produce in the mixture, the type that was nullified found its own type and is revived in its impure state. Abai said to Rav Dimi, that proof is not conclusive. Even if impurity revives impurity, as in the case of teruma where a kav of produce is impure, why should we assume that purity revives impurity, as is suggested with regard to fish brine, when the water in the pot is pure? Abai raised an objection to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan from a Mishnah in Power 9.7. If the ashes, what's the footnote? A for ashes, in order to eliminate the rich impurity imparted by human culture, purifications is achieved by means of water mixed with ashes of the red heifer. See Numbers chapter 19. Chapter 19. Its heifer must be entirely red, including its hairs, may not have any blemishes, and must not have been used for any labor. The red heifer was slaughtered on the Mount of Olives outside Jerusalem, and this blood was sprinkled 7 times opposite the entrance of the temple. Its carcass was then burned on a special pyre, to which cedar wood, hyssop, and crimson wool were added. The ashes from this pyre were subsequently gathered and used for the purification ritual. All the priests involved in sacrificing the red heifer became mostly impure until the evening. The red heifer can be burned by any priest, but this was customarily performed by the high priest. And there's a picture here, if you have this Shash's Gemara edition, page 143. The red heifer which imparted rich impurity to the priest involved in this ritual, and are fit for sprinkling on someone impure with impurity imparted by a corpse, became intermingled with regular burnt ashes. If the ashes of a red heifer became mingled with regular ashes, and the heifer's ashes constitute the majority of the mixture, it imparts rich impurity to conduct and carrying. If the regular ashes are the majority, the mixture imparts rich impurity to carrying alone. From Seif Tahara Paraduma 15.4. We follow the majority on to determine whether or not the mixture is impure. And therefore, if the mixture is composed of regular burnt ashes, the mixture does not impart impurity. Abai explains the objection. And if you say nullified impurity is considered like an item that is nevertheless present in the mixture and can be revived, what does that mean? At first glance, Abai's challenge is difficult even according to his own opinion, since in the case of the teruma he maintained that nullified impurity is nevertheless present. Apparently, Abai holds that nullified impurity is considered completely non-existent in a mixture, but it can be revived and come into contact with another impure substance. By contrast, in the case of the fish brine, the suggestion was that the impurity of the mixture of brine and water renders the water in the pot impure, which indicates that the impurity is not merely being revived but has been present all along. It is this notion that Abai challenges here. Talks about his Yonah, his Niyot, and Meshach Bekurim. Then, although the mixture does not impart impurity through physical contact, it is assumed that one touches the majority, lest let it impart impurity to carrying due to the ashes of the red heifer. Rav Dimi responded, in fact, it was stated with regard to that mission that Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanin, says, the mixture is pure in the sense that it does not impart impurity through contact, but it does impart impurity through carrying. Abai responded, but doesn't Rav Chisda say, if meat from an animal carcass which imparts rich impurity was mixed with the meat of the slaughtered animal, The meat of the carcass is nullified by the meat of the slaughtered animal. What's the footnote? If meat from the animal carcass became mixed with meat of a richly slaughtered animal, and the meat of the slaughtered animal constitutes the majority, the mixture imparts impurity through carrying alone. This is in accordance with the opinion of Rav Chisda and Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, as explained by Rashi. Rambam Seif Tahara Hilchot Shad Avat Hatumot 117. In the event that the richly pure meat constitutes a majority, the reason is it's impossible for a carcass to become a slaughtered animal, a richly slaughtered animal can never have the status of a carcass with regard to impurity. Abai explains the difficulty. Granted that it does not impart impurity to contact, but if the impurity is considered present to some extent, let the mixture impart impurity to carrying. Abai said, Rav Dimi said to Abai, you learned in the Mishnah according to the interpretation of Rav Chisda, but we learned that according to the interpretation of Rav Chia. Rav Chia teaches, with regard to meat from an animal carcass and meat from a slaughtered animal, one nullifies the other, depending on the majority, and it was stated with regard to this ruling that Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, says, if the majority is from a slaughtered animal, the mixture is pure. In the sense, it does not impart purity to contact, but it does impart purity to carrying. And by it raised another difficulty, and that which we learned in our Mishnah contradicts your opinion. As Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, in a case of a large animal expelled the mass of congealed blood, that mass must be buried, and the animal is exempt from having any of the future first offspring counted at firstborn. And Rabbi Chia teaches with regard to this ruling that mass does not impoverish impurity, neither through physical contact nor through carrying. But why? If Rav Dimi is correct, then granted it does not impart impurity to contact, but it nevertheless impart impurity to carrying. Rav Dimi was silent in response. The Gemara asks, and why is Rav Dimi silent? Perhaps our law is different here, as it is decayed impurity. Since the animal carcass that has rotted does not impart impurity at all. The Gemara comments, this works well according to the opinion of Pada, who says an item with a severe impurity, such as that of a non-viable newborn, imparts impurity to substances until it is rotted to the degree that it no longer fit to be consumed by a Gentile who observes the mitzvah, Ger Toshav, who is permitted to consume it, but an item with light impurity, which transmits impurity only by contact, imparts impurity to substances until it is no longer fit to be eaten by a dog. Apparently, Rashi maintains that mild impurity refers to impurity that is transmitted through physical contact but not by carrying, whereas severe impurity is transmitted both by contact and carrying. Accordingly, an item is no longer fit to be eaten by a person but still fit to be eaten by a dog, imparts impurity by contact and not by carrying. Tosfot claim that if a piece of meat is classified as the meat of an unslaughtered carcass, there are grounds for distinguishing between transmission of impurity to direct contact and transmission of impurity to carrying. Therefore, they explain that severe impurity is the level of impurity of an unslaughtered carcass, which imparts impurity both through contact and by carrying. According to Bapada, it imparts impurity provided it is fit for a dog by a dog. Impurity provided it is fit to be eaten by a dog. Light impurity refers to impurity of food that has come into contact with a source of impurity. Such a food item imparts rich impurity only to food and vessels, not to people, and only by contact, not through carrying. According to Bapada, such a food item ceases to impart impurity once it is no longer fit to be eaten by humans. And as this congealed mass is not fit to be eaten by Ger Toshav, it is not imparted purity. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says, we'll just move on to the next almost quickly, both this one and that one, items of both forms of impurity impart impurity until they are no longer fit to be eaten by a dog. It poses a difficulty to the opinion of Rabbi Yirmiyah as this mass is fit for a dog. The Gemara concludes, indeed it is difficult. And just read that footnote. Achas zo achas or ad la kelev. The carcass of an unslaughtered animal remains richly impure until it is no longer fit to be eaten by a dog. And according to the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, Rambam Seif Tahara Hilchot Shad Avat Hatumot 113. Thank you for listening and wish you a very good day. All the best. Bye.